We continue getting ready for Preakness Saturday at Laurel Park here on GCR, and this is as much of a home game as there ever could be for one particular rider in the Preakness. He's getting ready to hop aboard Taj Mahal, the winner of the Federico Tessio Stakes, and hopefully make a little history and win the Preakness as well. He is a man that's ridden at Laurel about 1 billion times in his life. He's Sheldon Russell, and he's back with us here on GCR. Sheldon, it's Glenn. It's great to catch up with you again, man. Thank you so much for taking the time for us.
Good morning, Glenn. Thanks for having me on. I'm happy to do this with you.
Sheldon, you've done this, like, obviously a few times in your life, right? Like riding in Preakness. But this one's a little bit different because it's happening at the track that, can I assume, maybe Delaware? Like, is there a track that you've ridden at more in your life than Laurel?
No, Laurel would be probably, well, yeah, definitely the racetrack I've ridden the most races at, for sure.
Man, this is going to be a wild thing. Let me start with the horse, right? Like, what Taj Mahal obviously comes in with a little bit more hype than perhaps some of the horses that you've ridden in the past at the Preakness. What makes Taj Mahal maybe a little bit more special than even some of the other, like, Federico Tessio winners?
Yeah, he's just a special horse. Brittany's had him since he'd done his first race with us. He broke his maiden. Look, he's 3'3" at Laurel. He really hasn't done anything wrong. So just to see the development in the horse and, like, obviously being on him for all three of his races, it's kind of special. It gives me a chance to sort of get familiar with them, and yeah, it would just be something really special. And for it to be like Brittany, my wife's horse, it makes it even. It's just it would be a fairy tale, let's say, if he were to win. That'd be awesome.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that for sure, Sheldon. I just, like, as a rider, do you have the sense of, like, whether a horse can win these types of races? Like, when you get on, like, do you say, like, hey, I know this is a good horse, but is there something about the horse that makes you say, oh, this horse could compete with any horse in the country?
Yeah, I think when you get on those type of horses, especially first time out, just the way they win their races, just the way they travel. Look, I got on him a few times in the morning leading up to his first race, and just as easy as he does his workouts and just walking to the track and walking back, they just got this, like, just this calming about them where they just make your job easier as a rider. So it's easier to pick them out, I'd say.
You mentioned, obviously, it's your wife's horse, right? Can you talk me through the dynamic of that relationship, right? Like, trainer and rider, wife, husband. Like, what makes it unique? What maybe gives you advantages? Is there any part about it that might be like a little bit of a disadvantage because, like, you still have to deal with this person for the rest of the day?
Yeah, I would say more advantages than not. Look, we get to work with each other in the morning, and then at the same time, we come home together, live together. She allows me to get on the horses in the morning, so I get a feel of them. I get to do most of their workouts. So I get to sort of figure out their quirks, like what they like, what they don't like. So I don't know, just being involved in her operation and working with her team, it's kind of special. It's sort of when I go to the paddock, I sort of have a rough idea of what horses I'm riding and how they sort of act. So it's like just having extra homework, I would say, showing up to a test.
This is gonna be the dumb guy question, Sheldon. But do you have to, like, compete for the best horses when Brittany has them, or like, is it like a known thing? Like, obviously, I get to ride the really special horses that you have.
Yeah, we're just lucky in that sense. She has some really good owners, and look, I don't suit all the horses, but as of now, like, they give me a chance to ride them. But obviously, if I have commitments at Laurel and she runs a good one at another racetrack, yeah, for sure, she'll find another rider. So I don't ride all the good ones, but um, I'm in a good spot right now, and we have a good working relationship, so it all works. Yeah, it's great so far.
It's Sheldon Russell. He's going to be riding Taj Mahal on Saturday in the Preakness. Sheldon, what makes Brittany such a special trainer?
She works really hard. She's got a great team behind her. She's got great assistant trainers, and yeah, the barn flows smoothly. She's worked for some good trainers before she went out on her own, and I feel like she took a little bit of learning from each one of those trainers she worked for before and used it. And when she went out on her own, I feel like it was all good experience. And she rode a few races, so she has an understanding on what goes on in a race as well. So she knows it's not as easy as it may look. So, but she's galloped horses before as well. So everything that's with what she does, I feel like she has a little bit of everything.
What would it mean? I mean, like all the dynamics of this are so unbelievable, right? And like winning the Preakness on any horse anywhere would be a big deal, but all of it almost feels like it's cosmic in a way, the way that all of this is lining up. What would it mean for this to be the way for you to win the Preakness on Saturday?
I mean, it would just, I mean, just for it to be at our home track would be extra special. And, for it to be on one of my wife's horses. And, yeah, I mean, it would just, like I said, it's something we've dreamed of. And it would be a dream come true if this were to happen. It would just, I mean, it's something you don't really see very often. A husband, wife sort of combo, riding and training the same horse. And, I mean, if he were to win, it would be something.
The Laurel part of this conversation, right? Like Sheldon, obviously it's a track you know incredibly well. What will make it different? What are the advantages, if any, for you, given your experience at Laurel, as opposed to maybe some of the other riders in the field?
I mean, some of the riders in the field, look, they're really good jockeys. They've got huge wins in it throughout their careers. I just think the fact that the horse gets to run a big race at his home track. So look, the horse hasn't had to jump on a van or ship to another racetrack. So his schedule hasn't really changed a whole lot. And it's the same as mine and Brittany's. Look, we train at Laurel, 6 days a week. So, I mean, we get to sleep at our own house, do the 25-minute drive to the racetrack. The only thing that will be different is come Saturday, we will have a few more extra fans than what we're used to seeing on a regular Saturday at Laurel.
Do you think the horse recognizes it? Like we always talk about horses that maybe can understand the moment, or horses that see the cameras. And do you sense that this horse understands at all what's going on this week?
Yeah, I think with the extra fans there, and look, they've put up a few little, um, tops and big tents. I think they would know it would be a big day, and I think they'll feed off the crowd's energy. Look, it's a race later on in the day, so yeah, I'm sure all those horses will be excited to run. I think the race goes off at 7:01.
Sheldon, I know that we don't get to talk a lot during the course of the year, but I just wanted to run a couple of things by you, because obviously we're only a little bit removed from finding out that Laurel Park was even going to be saved, right, and is going to continue to exist. Getting that news as someone who has run there as frequently, I mean, you kind of are the king of Laurel Park. What does that mean to the entire community? And while we still, need to see exactly what Pimlico ends up looking like, how comfortable are the horsemen in this area with the direction of both Pimlico and Laurel, and what Maryland racing is going to be moving forward, given the mass amount of uncertainty that we've dealt with in the last decade or so?
Yeah, I think if that's the direction it's going to go, at least in that sense, I'm happy that Laurel gets to showcase a big day of racing. And look, if it's the last time it's ever at Laurel Park again, at least Laurel Park gets to go out and to stage this big race. Look, I'd be very surprised if anyone comes on Saturday and doesn't have a great time. Laurel's a beautiful racetrack. We have a beautiful turf course. The dirt course is very fair, and I mean, we have a beautiful grandstand. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure it's going to be a great day, and yeah.
What have you made about all the conversation about the spacing of these three races, Sheldon, and what's best and what's most appropriate? There's still, I know, some people within the sport that say we don't need to do anything, just run the horses. They can run. They're capable of it. And it seems like that a lot of the owners are saying, yeah, no, we're not. We're just not doing it. It's not going to work that way. What have you made about all that conversation?
Yeah, I think some horses can handle it, and obviously some can't. But look, if that's the direction they're gonna go, then we'll support it. It's always sort of been like that, and I don't know if you were to change it. That's sort of I don't really know. It's hard because there's been Triple Crown winners in the past, but look, if it's gonna help the horses, then I'm all for it. But yeah, you hear more and more about it, so it might be closer than we think.
It seems like that might be the case. And then I don't think I've ever asked you this before. Sheldon, how superstitious are you on race days, or maybe even just on big race days?
Yeah, no, I just try and keep everything normal. I'm not too superstitious. Look, he's drawn from the rail, so like I'm not superstitious in that sense. I think I'd rode a Preakness before where the horse had drawn out of the 13 post, and people were
Ooh.
asking me that same question. But
Yeah, but okay, but that one's unique. Like that one, I wouldn't be okay with. In fact, I would argue that we should
I
just get rid of the 13 post altogether in races.
Yeah, I think when I rode the Derby, in 2012. I think my horse drew post 17, and I think still to this day, no horse has ever won from post 17 in the
That's
Derby. So
of course,
I
of course,
don't
that's
know.
the
Like
one
if
you
we
got.
were, yeah, that would be in that sense. I might be a little superstitious, but it being at a track that I'm familiar with and a horse that I've ridden in the past, especially throughout his whole three races, his short career. Look, we'll try and keep everything normal, and like I said, it's just going to be like a normal day or normal Saturday for us. We'll just have more fans, so if anything, the fans will just bump us up even more.
No, and obviously there's going to be an awful lot of people rooting for you guys specifically. Is there a specific strategy when you get the inside post, or like, is it still just based on the horse, like what the plan is for the horse, get out? Like what is the thought process when you get one?
Yeah, I mean, we have a little bit of a run to the first bend. Look, if the run up was a little shorter, then obviously you would want to get a really good break so you could hold your position. But look, I'll keep it pretty simple. He's a good gate horse, so I'll just try and get a good break out of him. And look, if he puts me up there, then great. And look, if it doesn't go that way, we'll just have to adapt. These good horses, they can that they don't just have one running style. So like I have a lot of faith in him, and I just hope on Saturdays it's his day to shine.
Man, it would be one of the all-time special stories in Preakness history if it goes this way. And there's an awful lot of people around this state that are rooting for you guys. Sheldon Russell, going to be a special day. Appreciate you taking the time. Go get him. Maybe we'll be talking to Preakness champion Sheldon Russell the next time we have this conversation. Best of luck on Saturday, and thank you for doing this as always, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. You guys have a good week.